Joey Logano finally said what everyone was thinking, and it's not good news for Connor Zilisch. According to a three-time champion, this young driver is facing one roadblock he can't get past, no matter how much talent he has. And after what happened this weekend, it's impossible to look away from it anymore. Connor Zilisch was being called NASCAR's next big star. He's only 19 years old, and right now, he can't seem to catch a single break. If you've been following the Cup Series this year, you've probably noticed something. This young driver was called a generational talent. People said he'd win, and win soon. But so far, it just hasn't happened. And what went down this weekend at Chicagoland made things even tougher to watch. Connor Zilisch drives the number 88 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing. He came up through the O'Reilly Series, and he ruled that place. Now, it depends on which report you read, but he won somewhere around 10 to 13 races last season. He came within inches of the whole championship, losing a nail-biter to Jesse Love. His last win in that series came in May at Watkins Glen. So when he moved up to the Cup Series this year, everyone expected big things right out of the gate. But the Cup Series turned out to be a completely different story. Let's talk about Chicagoland, because it kind of sums up his entire season. NASCAR returned to Chicagoland Speedway on Sunday, July 5th, for the Aero 400. Zilisch started the race in 21st, right in the middle of the pack. That's usually a safe place to be, but not this time. As the field took the green flag and swept through those first turns onto the backstretch, everything unraveled in a hurry. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got pinched near the outside wall. Then Eric Jones made contact in that same spot, and it sent Ryan Preece spinning straight into Connor Zilisch. It was a chain reaction, and Zilisch was just an innocent bystander stuck in the middle of it. NASCAR put it perfectly, saying, there was nowhere to go for Connor Zilisch. His car got swept up, spun around, slid across the track, and slammed hard into the inside wall. The front end was wrecked, and over the radio, you could hear just how broken he was. He said, "We're destroyed. I am sorry, guys. Oh my, can't get anything to go for me." That last line tells you exactly where his head was at. His day was over, and he finished dead last again. And here's the thing. This wasn't a one-time deal. It keeps happening again and again. Just look at the numbers. In his last 7 races, that number 88 car has been caught up in a wreck 5 times. He's finished 30th, or worse, 9 times this season. He crashed 3 races in a row at Charlotte, Nashville, and Michigan. Then he ran 23rd at Pocono, before crashing again and finishing 37th down in San Diego. He came into Chicagoland with an average finish of 27th and 6 DNFs, which just means his race ended early 6 times. Right now, he sits 34th in the standings. That's worse than every full-time driver except one. Now, 1 week before all of this, there was actually a bright spot. At Sonoma, Zilisch finally broke through and grabbed his first top 10 finish, coming home in 7th. And afterward, he sounded so relieved. He said, "It felt good to have a clean run. We needed a day like this to go into next week with something to build on." You could feel the hope in those words. He finally had some momentum. And then, just 1 week later, it was all gone on the very first lap at Chicagoland. That has to sting. So, here's where it gets interesting. Someone who knows exactly what Connor is going through decided to speak up. And that someone is Joey Logano. Now, in case you don't know, Logano is a 3-time Cup Series champion. But he wasn't always a champion. A long time ago, he was the exact same kind of hyped-up young driver that Connor is now. And on a recent podcast, Logano got real about it. He said he relates to Connor more than almost anyone. Here's how he put it. Connor was dubbed that guy, and he was that in the O'Reilly series, just like I was when I started over there. Won my 3rd race. Then he explained the trap these young stars fall into. He said, this whole, hype, living up to the hype, get to the Cup level. Uh-oh. And that's exactly what happened to me the first 2 years. This wasn't what I was expecting. These guys are really, really good. And that's fact. And this is the hidden problem Connor can't escape. Logano says moving up to the Cup Series is just brutally hard. He said, "The jump from the O'Reilly Series to the Cup Series is the largest jump in motorsports, period. Hands down, there's not a larger jump from a talent level. Everybody in the Cup Series can go to the O'Reilly Series and win today. Every single one of them." He even told a story about himself to prove the point. When he was young, he looked at the slower cars in the back and figured they were nothing. But then he actually raced against them. He said, "I thought those guys that run in the back every week, I'm like, they suck. I can beat them. And then I'm watching them just laying 2 black marks off the corner. I'm like, holy cow, these guys are really good. And I couldn't keep up." So what's the real secret? Logano says it's not about raw talent. Connor already has that. It's about the tiny details you can only learn over years and years. He explained, the drivers knowing what they need in their team, in their car, and how just to manipulate so much stuff, that's what makes them great, and it takes years to do it. Connor will do it. He even called Connor a diamond in the rough, saying, he just needs to be around long enough. And here's the part that should give every young driver hope. Logano almost didn't make it himself. People forget this. He was once a can't-miss prospect for Joe Gibbs Racing, and then he lost his ride after the 2012 season. He was basically out of a job. Roger Penske gave him a second chance, and the rest is history. 3 championships, but Logano says it was closer than people realize. His words were pretty powerful. He said, "I almost lost my chance. I was this close to not making it. Forget 3 championships, not making it, not driving race cars. And we need to give these younger guys a chance to keep up and catch up." So Logano's big message is simple. Give Connor time. The talent is obviously there. And the good news for Connor is that Trackhouse Racing seems to believe that too. His deal is reportedly locked in through 2027, so he's not going anywhere. Now, to be fair, the whole Trackhouse team has struggled this year. Ross Chastain, who made the Final 4 of the playoffs back in 2023, has been sitting around 22nd. Shane Van Gisbergen is 14th, but that's mostly thanks to his road course magic, where he's already grabbed 2 wins this year. So this isn't just a Connor problem. It's a team-wide slump. Now, there's one more layer to all of this, and it ties right back to Logano. On that same podcast, he brought up something that clearly still bothers him. He talked about how differently fans treat him compared to another young driver, Carson Hocevar. Logano has always been seen as kind of the villain of NASCAR, and he still can't shake it, even now. He said, "To this day, I still get booed like you wouldn't believe for the things I did when I was 19 years old." Then he pointed at Hocevar and said, "This kid comes in and wrecks way more people than I ever did, and people love him, but he wasn't really mad about it." He actually praised Hocevar, saying, "I think Carson's great for the sport. He brings a ton of new fans. The way he speaks, he's just younger." And that raises a real question about Connor Zilisch. When a young driver struggles and crashes, will fans give him patience? Or will they turn on him the way they turned on Logano all those years ago? For now, Connor gets another shot to turn things around next Sunday, July 12th at Atlanta. After the season he's had, he could really use a clean day. But here's the thing worth really thinking about. Every crash that isn't his fault still takes something away from him, and that something is track time. The only way he learns those tiny details Logano talked about is by staying on the track, lap after lap, race after race. So this bad luck isn't just frustrating.